What everyone gets wrong about these famous songs. Music hits us in the gut before it hits our brain. That's probably why we can love a song for years without actually understanding what it's about. From patriotic anthems that aren't patriotic to love songs that definitely aren't about love. Here are some of the most misunderstood tracks in music history. Born in the U.S.A., Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen's Born in the U.S.A. gets blasted at political rallies, 4th of July barbecues, and sporting events like it's the ultimate feel-good American anthem. That pounding drum beat and the way Springsteen belts out the chorus makes it sound triumphant, right? Wrong. The song is actually a critique of how America treated Vietnam veterans. The verses tell the story of unemployment, despair, and a country that turned its back on the men it sent to war. It's not about waving the flag with pride. It's about national shame. Even Ronald Reagan misread it during his presidential campaign, trying to use it as a patriotic rallying cry. Springsteen himself later explained in interviews that people latched onto the chorus without listening to the verses, where the real message lives. The boss put it perfectly when he talked about how the power of the chorus completely overshadowed what he was actually saying in the verses. Many listeners never got that far into the song to hear the story of veterans feeling abandoned and left behind. If you're already surprised by how wrong people got that one, make sure you hit subscribe because we're just getting started. There are way more songs everyone's been misunderstanding for decades. Every Breath You Take, The Police. This one gets played at weddings, anniversaries, romantic playlists, and every time someone's missing the point by a mile. Every Breath You Take is not a love song. It's a song about obsession and surveillance. Sting has gone on record multiple times expressing disbelief that people think it's romantic. Lines like, "Every move you make, I'll be watching you," aren't about devotion. They're about control. It's essentially a stalker's manifesto set to a beautiful melody. A 2021 article from Far Out magazine pointed out what diehard fans already knew. This is just one dark song. Sting said he was inspired by surveillance culture when he wrote it. It's just got to be Andy Summers' complex melodic guitar chord choices that make the song sound less sinister than it was intended to be. How else can we understand why so many people still believe this all-time banger from The Police is a love song? So maybe skip this one for the first dance. Summer of '69, Bryan Adams. Here's one that might ruin your nostalgic memories. Summer of '69 sounds like a wistful look back at teenage years, long summer days, first love, playing in a band with your buddies. The lyrics paint this perfect picture of youthful innocence and those carefree moments. Except Bryan Adams was 9 years old in 1969. He's admitted in interviews that the song isn't about the year at all. It's actually a cheeky reference to the sexual position. You know the old saying, be careful what you wish for. We're almost sorry we found out about the actual story behind this hit. Adams helped write the hit with Jim Vallance. Vallance first wrote the line "Best Days of My Life" with the more wholesome nostalgia story in mind. But Adams had other ideas and wasn't thinking too far away from his own desires when he helped compose it. He told Classic Rock's Louder Sound site that Summer of '69 was about exactly that. That melancholic melody everyone loves? Yeah, it's covering up something way more literal. Stick around because the next few songs on this list will change how you hear some classics forever. American Woman, The Guess Who. On the surface, American Woman sounds like it could be about bold, confident women, or maybe even a pro-American anthem. The title alone seems celebratory, like it's praising independence or strength. It's actually a protest song. The Guess Who were a Canadian band reacting to their disgust with American foreign policy during the Vietnam War. The American woman they're singing about represents aggressive political and cultural imperialism. It's a rejection of what America stood for at that time, not a celebration. The band was expressing their distaste for American politics and culture, particularly during that era. Kinda changes the vibe when you realize it's basically saying, American woman, stay away from me for political reasons, not romantic ones. Pumped Up Kicks, Foster the People. This indie hit dominated radio in 2011 with its breezy whistle hook and chill, catchy beat. It became one of those songs you'd hear everywhere. Commercials, playlists, casual listening. The tune had this laid-back summer vibe that made it perfect for any occasion. But the upbeat sound masks something deeply disturbing. Pumped Up Kicks is about a troubled youth planning a school shooting. The lyrics detail the inner thoughts of someone planning violence, but the melody is so light and whistleable that most people never caught on. The sleeper hit connected with audiences because of its sound, not because anyone was paying attention to what was actually being said. Once the true meaning came to light, it stirred major controversy. Radio stations had been playing a song about gun violence on repeat without realizing it. The song did end up sparking important conversations about mental health and gun violence. But it's wild how many people were bobbing their heads along without realizing what they were actually listening to. I Shot the Sheriff, Bob Marley. Bob Marley's reggae classic sounds like a straightforward story of someone who shot a law enforcement officer. The title doesn't leave much room for interpretation, right? Eric Clapton covered it in 1974 and turned it into a rock hit, which probably reinforced the literal interpretation for a lot of listeners who heard that version on the radio. But Marley's message was metaphorical. The sheriff represents systemic oppression, specifically the legal and policing systems that marginalized black people in Jamaica. It's about resistance and freedom, not actual gunplay. Marley was using the story as a symbol for standing up against the institutions that kept people down. It's less about violence and more about liberation. Clapton's cover brought the song mainstream success and topped the charts, but arguably stripped away some of that revolutionary intent. The rock version was catchy and radio-friendly, but it lost some of the deeper meaning Marley had originally put into it. Louie Louie, the Kingsman. In the early 1960s, Louie Louie caused a full-blown moral panic across America. The vocals were so slurred and hard to understand that rumors spread like wildfire about the lyrics being obscene and inappropriate. Parents were outraged. Community groups demanded action. The FBI actually launched an investigation to determine if the song violated decency laws. Think about that. Federal agents investigating a rock and roll song because people couldn't understand the words and assumed the worst. The reality? It's an innocent song about a Jamaican sailor who misses his lover and wants to sail back home to see her again. That's it. The slurred delivery that caused all the hysteria was just due to poor recording quality and the lead singer's delivery style. No hidden obscenities, no secret messages, just a guy singing about missing his girlfriend. The investigation concluded without finding anything improper, proving that sometimes people hear what they expect to hear rather than what's actually there. Like a Virgin, Madonna. Madonna's provocative hit is widely assumed to be about a woman's first sexual experience. The title alone seems pretty straightforward, and Madonna's image at the time certainly played into that interpretation. The song became controversial for what people thought it was saying, but songwriter Billy Steinberg clarified it's actually about emotional rebirth. The song is about feeling renewed after a painful relationship, getting back the capacity to love and be vulnerable again after heartbreak. Like a Virgin is a metaphor for starting fresh emotionally, not about literal virginity. It's about that feeling when you meet someone new after being hurt and suddenly feeling like you can trust again. Leave it to Madonna to wrap a message about emotional healing in enough imagery that everyone misses the point. The song isn't about physical experience, it's about emotional transformation and finding yourself again after loss. Rock the Casbah, The Clash. Rock the Casbah has this undeniably catchy groove that makes you want to move. It's been used at parties, in military morale videos, and all sorts of lighthearted contexts where people just want something upbeat and fun to play. The song is actually a protest against cultural authoritarianism. The Clash wrote it as a response to oppressive regimes banning Western music in some Middle Eastern countries. It's a satirical critique of efforts to control youth culture and suppress artistic expression. The track satirizes the attempts to ban music and control what young people could listen to and enjoy. The irony is that this politically charged song about resisting cultural control gets used in contexts that completely miss its meaning. The catchy beat and fun sound made people think it was just a party song, completely missing the message about freedom and resistance that the Clash was actually trying to send. Music has this way of getting under our skin before our brain catches up. These songs prove that a great melody or catchy chorus can completely overpower the actual message. Sometimes we hear what we want to hear, and sometimes, like with every breath you take at weddings, we really should have been paying closer attention to the lyrics. What songs do you think people completely misunderstand? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Now if you really enjoyed watching this video, then like it and consider subscribing to the channel as well. I'll see you later.